Are you contributing money into a qualified retirement plan like a 401k or a 403b, or how about a 457, or even the government's thrift savings plan? If so, today's video is for you. Also, if you're near your 50th birthday, then this video is really for you. Today we're talking about the catch-up provision. What is it? How does it work? And how does it stack up against other retirement accumulation strategies? I'm Mark Tomei, and this is Hindsight Financial. Welcome back to my channel. For over 20 years, I've been helping people make retirement and financial decisions. And the decision to utilize the catch-up provision of your qualified plan is definitely an important decision that every contributor is going to have to make. So let's dive in and let's talk a little bit about this. What is the catch-up provision? The IRS has granted us the benevolence of adding additional money over and above the typical contribution limits to our qualified retirement plans once we turn 50 years of age. So the thinking there is as well, we've got in the home stretch towards retirement planning, and we're not as far along as we'd like to be, but now we've got this ability to add catch-up funds to our plan each year. Well, in 2024, the catch-up provision allowance is $7,500. So you're allowed to add $7,500 more than you've ever added into your plan. But you're 50 years old or you're 55 years old. Is it a good idea? Let's talk about this and dive in a little bit to check out the math. This is going to be an exercise in comparison and examining strategies at a qualitative level. We're not going to get down to pennies, but I want to show you how this works, and I want to show you how a different strategy works so that you can make a clear decision for yourself. So let's start with the qualified plan. We're going to put money into a qualified plan, and if we're allowed this extra $7,500, then I want to kind of separate that and analyze it all on its own. And if we understand how the $7,500 works, then the rest should be easy as well. But I think 75 makes for good round math. So let's assume that we're a 55-year-old female and we've got about 10 years till retirement. Now, the typical scenario is we saved, but we had to put kid through school, we had to pay for some weddings, and now the kids are grown, and we've got this home stretch that we've got to get real serious about our retirement savings, and this catch-up provision is pretty attractive. It's thrown at us as, here's this opportunity now to sock more money away for retirement. Well, how does that work? Let's take a look. What I've got here is a $7,500 contribution, and for 10 years, you can see that that's $75,000. Well, we're going into these plans because we want growth. So that means we have to kind of determine what interest rate or what growth rate do we want to use for our calculations. I'm choosing 6%. And I use 6% because I think it's a fair number. I think it's a number that a lot of advisors use in their retirement plans on the accumulation side for like a 60-40 portfolio. 6% is a good round number to use. It's not quite the historical average of the stock market, but guess what, folks? Neither is the average retail investor. So I think this is just a good place to start. And if this does ring true to you, or if it brings up more questions, then let's dive in and let's handle those. But from now, if I do earn 6%, then my account grows to, I'm going to put this in the middle of the year, and I get $101,821. So this is my potential, right? When I'm putting this money in and I'm hoping I'm going to earn 6% each and every year for all 10 years, think about how many times you've done that. But for the sake of math, spot me this one. 6% for 10 years, we put it in, we get $101,821. So that's the account value. How much of that do we get to spend? Well, there was another video that I had produced called the 4% rule and understanding how that works. And essentially, when we're trying to figure out how much income can be generated from a portfolio of securities, stocks, bonds, and cash, how much can I safely withdraw from that account each year over a 30-year retirement without running out of money before we run out of retirement? So 4% is what I'm using as kind of my guideline. And if I take 4% of that 101, I have $4,072. Okay, so that's the annual income that would come off of this particular investment or savings piece. And $4,072 is a gross number because these are all pre-tax plans. So we haven't seen Uncle Sam yet. So I'm going to use 20% as a total combined tax rate. Some may be higher, some may be lower, but you got to pick something to go with. So I'm going to go with 20%, and that takes my distribution to $3,258 per year. And this is your net number. Grandfather's life insurance policy. This is designing a policy that is designed to generate output, generate retirement income and cash flow, and it does it like nothing else. So let's take a look at how that would look. In this particular case, you can see here my total premium is $6,000, and I'm putting that in for 10 years. So my cumulative outlay is $60,000. Why $6,000? Why not $7,500? Well, I'm deducting taxes. I'm taking 20% off of the top of this, because if we're putting it into a life insurance contract, this is after tax. So we're making the decision to pay our tax now, maybe when we still have mortgage interest deductions, or we still have kids that are minors in the home that we can deduct, or we still have tax credits that haven't gone away yet, right? So I'm going to take that off the top, and then the $6,000 is what eventually goes into the policy. Well, how does that work out? $60,000 is my cumulative input into the policy, but now I'm going to tell the policy, start generating income for me, and I want to have the money come out of the policy. So this is coming from the cash values to my personal bank account in the form of either loans or withdrawals. We don't have to determine which just yet. But the number here that can be supported is $3,966. $3,966 is the available cash flow off of the policy. So how does that stack up, and what are some of the key differences? Well, first things first, $3,966 is almost 22% greater cash flow than what I would get out of the qualified retirement plan with the same taxes, same situation, same accumulation. So when I look at the policy, $3,966 is the cash flow or the income that this will support for a 30-year retirement through age 95, which is kind of the same concept of the 4% rule for a 30-year retirement. So to equate these two things, we just want to take a look at what each is able to drive in the way of reliable, consistent, repeatable income, because that's really what a retiree cares about. ROI has always meant return on investment for folks. When you get to retirement, it's reliability of income. That's really the important part. So from my policy, I have 21%, 22% more cash flow than I would have under the same set of conditions in the 401k. Well, what are also some of the other differences? Well, because this is a life insurance contract, I can also insure against my own disability. So these premiums, in your 50s and late 50s and early 60s, that's the time where disability really creeps in, in the form of back pain or heart attack or cancer, any of the things that happen to us as we age. The disability becomes a much greater risk as we get closer to retirement. And those are the critical years that we need from our income to really fund and kick our retirement off in the right direction. So I can take this contribution here, and I can also insure that against disability. So if I become disabled, the insurance company will continue to make this payment for me. Very few other places that you're going to find that type of situation. So I have no market risk going into this policy. Remember back here we said we had to get 6% year in and year out for 10 years? You have to ask yourself, have I ever done that? Do I know anybody who's ever done that? Because there's good years, but there's also bad years. And there are 10-year periods where we went nowhere. The lost decade, about 1997 to 2007, market returns started and ended in about the same place. And if that's you and your retirement, you're in big trouble, because we need those 10 years of growth to really hyperdrive our retirement income. So here I have no market risk whatsoever. I have protection against disability on my contributions. And also, if I don't make it that long, because this is life insurance, if I die too soon, then the life insurance company is going to kick in the rest of the cash that I wouldn't be able to earn. Well, I don't get that either in a qualified retirement plan. So this is more of a self-completing plan. It works whether or not you're healthy or you become disabled. It works whether or not you live and fund it the whole time, or if you die too soon, it's still funded for your family. And this cash flow down here, what I should specify is this is tax exempt. In other words, the IRS treats this cash flow as a return of our premium. So we don't even pay taxes on this. There's no market risk for it, and I can insure the contributions against two of the biggest deal killers in our late 50s and early 60s, death and disability. So I wanted to raise this point because if you are of average or better health, you have options. You have options that I bet you nobody's ever explained to you before. I would venture to guess you didn't know it worked this way. Did you? Well, what I wanted you to see is The catch-up provision suffers because there's not enough time. That 10-year window of time from age 55 to age 65, at least in our case here, that's not enough time to really let those dollars cook in that investment and to really overcome the taxation, right? Because on the way out, we're going to pay taxes. So guess what? The retirement life insurance design works even better if taxes go up in the future because you're tax exempt here. There's no taxes taken from this money. If you are in your qualified retirement plan and taxes go up, then that's an uncontrollable cut into your retirement that you have no control over. So you have to ask yourself this: do you think taxes are going to go up over the next 10 years, or do you think they're going to go down? If you're in the camp that believes that it's going to get more expensive to run our government, and if your money is in a qualified retirement plan, and if you're considering whether or not you should make catch-up contributions, I hope you give this a good hard look. I appreciate your time. If this was valuable, click on the like button and share this with other people that you know. Drop me a comment and subscribe to my channel. Putting out content every week to help people just like you have a tax-free retirement with no regrets. Have a great day.